I followed the Onision thing a little bit. Honestly, his critics are so cringe and so annoying that I'm actually starting to sympathize with Onision the last couple weeks.
Apparently what me, to Mimi, Edwin's generation, Repsion, and everyone else in the commentary community has been doing for a substantial amount of years, big brain Chris Hansen simply cannot be fucked to do.
Roxanne, did you make videos saying that Onision's going to jail?
No, I covered Onision. I covered Chris Hansen reporting that.
You never made a video claiming that Onision's going to go to jail.
Guess what? I've publicly talked about Chris Hansen and why I don't support him anymore. Have you actually checked out my tweets?
Hold on, Nicholas DeOrio. I know you don't like me, but I wanted to say, and I kind of felt bad for not saying it, you seem like a genius.
Hey everyone, Chris Hansen here from New York City, and you are having a seat with Chris Hansen on my YouTube channel. We'll take you to the front lines in the battle against a predator known as COVID-19.
That's how he thinks, and he thinks he's a god, and it's...
here is... I don't even know where to start. Okay, here's Chris Hansen.
I was thinking about an old quote today that seems particularly relevant given everything that's going on social media these days. When the debate is lost, the loser resorts to slander. Think about that for a minute.
Oh shit, oh day, pray them niggas go away. Oh, we sell the clowns around, it look like circus show. This is not the album either, these are just the throwaways. This shit's still so cold when it drop, it's gonna be a motherfucking snow day.
Okay, the amount of misinformation surrounding the delicate allegations and the subsequent false hope of the alleged victims can be accredited directly to Chris Hansen. While I believe a few weeks ago that would have been some massive controversial statement, it seems like the severity of his recent fuck-ups has managed to sway even some of the more vocal anti-Os. It's common knowledge at this point that current-day Chris Hansen is nothing more than an internet grifter who will say and do anything necessary to line his pockets and return to the fame and praise his younger self was once engulfed in. One of my personal favorite examples of this is his Cameo account, where he promotes literally anyone or anything if you give him a few dollars to speak about it positively. This has led to some of the more harmless clips, like this one where he promotes an OnlyFans account.
I'm gonna need everyone to have a seat because Honey Milk has finally created an OnlyFans, daily uploads and direct communication. That's onlyfans.com/hun3yxmilk.
Which, by the way, is even more hilarious when you realize he wasn't even sure what the website was, as he thought it was a streaming service porn channel in one of his Twitter altercations with Onision. He's also shouted out the Epstein pilot program for children in high school.
Very cool, son. Congratulations. I hear you've gotten into the Epstein pilot program before even finishing high school. Tremendous.
Alright, let's be fair here. This one was probably a genuinely hilarious case of him being tricked, which is really easy to do when you'll shout out literally anyone, including your detractors, for just $50.
I'd like to give a big shout out to Nicholas DeOrio. He's a great YouTuber.
Never mind the fact that I paid him to make that just to throw it in Shiloh's face, who is, by the way, one of the alleged victims he's representing. But enough on that, because that's old news. Interestingly enough, I've checked the transcripts here, and something has stuck out to me. Apparently you've gone as far to promote a certain cell phone?
Hey guys, Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators, and to catch a predator, I just wanted to tell you all that I've seen this amazing new smartphone called the Escobar Fold 2. It appears to be the best phone out right now. I've been looking at the transcripts. So have a seat, check it out, and remember, I'll be watching. Take care.
Escobar. Why does that name sound so familiar? Well, in case you're unaware, the brand name Escobar actually unironically comes from Pablo Escobar, who, by the way, was famous for being a Colombian drug lord and narco-terrorist, who was also the founder of the Medellin cartel. At the time of his death, his net worth was estimated at $30 billion in 1993, which is a fuckload of money today, let alone back then. Escobar was quite literally one of the biggest predators of all time, with Medellin becoming the murder capital of the world at the height of his power, recording 6,300 homicides in 1991 alone, with Escobar placing a bounty on the heads of each police officer killed. Now, if you're wondering, Nick, what the fuck fuck does this have to do with a cell phone? And what the fuck does this have to do with Chris Hansen? Look, I get it. There's a lot of information here to absorb. But essentially what the Escobar Fold scam was had actually been a product utilizing the family name directly from the estate of Pablo Escobar in an attempt to use this name and legacy to attract and scam customers with a bogus phone.
Samsung will not survive. Pablo is still upset. Pablo always wins. The death comes fast.
Holy fuck, we're demonetized. So the product is being pushed by two gentlemen. The first is named Olaf Gustafsson, and the older gentleman, who's Pablo's brother, is named Roberto Escobar. He is listed as the former chief of assassinations on their website's About page. In early February, this scam was busted by both Cavos and initially Marquez Brownlee, who actually peeled the golden sticker off the phone that he received to show they were literally selling a Samsung Galaxy Fold with a big golden sticker on it. Oh, and by the way, it was a third of the price. This was accomplished by presumably only shipping review units to big YouTubers and bloggers to get them to talk about it and then not ship out the product to the general population, you know, so they can pocket the money. So now that you know what the scam was, what does it have to do with Chris Hansen?
Hey guys, Chris Hansen here of Hansen vs. Predators, and to catch a predator, I just wanted to tell you all that I've seen this amazing new smartphone called the Escobar Fold 2.
Chris Hansen is essentially the fame whore equivalent of an internet prostitute that will sell his name and influence for literally just $50. I don't doubt for a minute that Chris had no idea who he was backing, but that's also the problem, because Chris Hansen is just one of the two suckers dumb enough to not Google the phone he was promoting and end up going into business with the estate of a notorious deceased predator and drug lord Pablo Escobar. And if you're rushing to see the cameo on the Escobar Estate's YouTube channel, you won't find it. Do you know why? Well, that's because Chris Hansen struck it. Well, he probably had the right to do so. I just can't believe that Chris Hansen has the balls to DMCA the former chief of assassinations of the cartel. But Nick, giant derailing hard right turns aside, that's just a cameo. Why can't you show us he's ready and willing to knowingly get his hands dirty and promote a scam? Fine, let's talk about Scam Report.
Cyber grifters and others like them lurk in every dark corner of the web. The good news is, with a little healthy skepticism, they're easy to avoid if you learn how to spot the warning signs of a scammer.
You have to do your research, no matter what. I personally believe it starts with knowing who you're working for.
So what exactly is Scam Report? What is that video titled, "At $1 It's Gold Dust Loot, Working at Home, Secrets, and Internet Jet Set" by John Cristani? And why is Chris Hansen endorsing it publicly in person? Well, there were 2 episodes released, and if you haven't heard of it, I believe you, because each one only has about 200 views. What this quote-unquote show appears to be is Chris Hansen explaining how easy it is to get caught in internet scams through things such as crypto and pyramid schemes, while also promoting scams himself. But let's be honest with ourselves here, this is not a show. If you traverse the colorful website for about 5 seconds, you'll see an episode 2 on screen here, but an interesting 17-second timestamp accompanies it. Why does this page skip to 17 seconds by default? Well, the reason they do this is if you were to scroll back 10 seconds, you'd see that it's a gigantic ad read, marketed as a scam protection documentary. It's paid for by a company called Pendragon Labs. Huh, this wasn't on that first episode we watched on YouTube. What was it that guy John Cristani said?
You have to do your research, no matter what. I personally believe it starts with knowing who you're working for.
Yes, John Cristani, I do my research. That's how I know who he's working for. He's working for you. As your LinkedIn states, you run Pendragon Labs Marketing. In case you've never heard of John Cristani, he's a famous internet grifter and the subject of many exposed videos on YouTube, in case you hadn't already realized that.
I'd like to introduce you to my friend Benjamin and his friend Benjamin and his friend Benjamin and Benjamin and Benjamin and Benjamin and Benjamin. This is what's called 10 racks as they say in the hood.
So, to summarize here, Chris did an ad read for a big money from home scam, using his name and influence to trick watchers into thinking it was some sort of awareness campaign against cybercrime. Then it redirects you to shady website after shady website that attempt to prevent you from realizing what you just listened to was an ad in itself, and promotes internet grifter John Crestani's program that is marketed as $1. But is it really $1? Of fucking course it's not. Once you give them your credit card information on this super shady, crusty JPEG purchase screen where you can't click half the things on the top, it'll be a monthly $40 payment after the first month. But to get to that screen, you need to hit an OK button on a screen that tells you that most people won't make any money, which I assume is in there to protect him legally. Chris Hansen is tricking whatever fans he has left into thinking he's educating them on cybercrime, as the world-renowned investigative journalist that he is. And in reality, he's just doing a standard ad read and then fucking off without ever mentioning it again. But yeah, Chris Hansen is a piece of shit. No new information there. But let's talk about Chris's next big power play to get people talking about Onision again, because he just released a statement that he's supporting the idea of potentially taking action against YouTube.com directly for not acting on Onision. Yeah, I'm serious.
I can report exclusively tonight that multiple alleged victims of his are now in contact with a law firm that specializes in investigations of people like Jackson, who are accused of multiple incidents of predatory behavior targeting young women. It's a law firm I've dealt with for a number of years in terms of other investigations I've done. And they are talking to the victims in reference to a potential civil case, assisting in the ongoing criminal investigations being conducted by the FBI and the Pierce County Sheriff,
All right.
as well as potential action against YouTube. And this is a topic that we'll get into as we continue these investigations. YouTube has some responsibility here. We tried on multiple occasions to get the CEO, Susan Wojcicki, on this program. We will continue to try, because I think there is a responsibility there on the part of YouTube to monitor the kinds of things that people like Onision, Greg, James, Jackson are doing. I think there is a responsibility there on the part of YouTube to monitor the kinds of things that people like Onision are doing.
I've been having these weird thoughts lately.
And how they continue to thwart the system to their advantage.
Like, is any of this for real or not?
I'm sorry. That was just such a stupid statement. I lost my grasp on reality.
Well, if you're wondering why I was laughing so hard, it's because I was watching the last glimmer of support from the widespread YouTube community fade into obscurity. Let me spell out exactly what Chris is saying here. He thinks it's a good idea to put pressure on and consider suing YouTube, because they are responsible for the mean things Onision is doing on the website, even if they don't feel that his content explicitly violates TOS. So Chris, let me get this straight. What you're asking for is YouTube to crack down harder on creators who make edgier content and open the platform up for another adpocalypse, because your story is getting cold and people have stopped paying attention. Oh no, Chris, nobody's gonna back you on that. You're playing Matt Watson here, and you sound like a toddler turning his crosshairs at the platform because you're not seeing the result you were hoping for. But maybe we're being hard on Chris. Maybe he's talking about rallying against Onision's flagrant abuse of the copyright system. Maybe I've got it all wrong and he wants to take a stance against copyright by making an example of Onision's abuse of content ID.
Because I think there is a responsibility there on the part of YouTube to monitor the kinds of things that people like Onision, Greg, James, Jackson are doing, and how they continue to bully, berate, and work the system to their advantage.
Nope, I was right. Susan won't come on his show and he's angry Onision's not terminated. But if we're being honest here for a second, I'm kinda glad. Chris Hansen really isn't the guy to take a stance against copyright abuse.
If you are not aware, there has been an absolute shitstorm brewing behind the scenes between Chris Hansen, his partner Vince, and some of the members of the To Catch a Predator community.
We weren't looking to file any copyright strikes on anybody. We're just doing our jobs. And this was, thrown on our doorstep, so we had to deal with it.
I never thought in a million years that you would go as far as to fuck the community and do shit like issue a copyright copyright strike to animation, having a sped up drawing video of a predator. Did you claim this one for the sped up To Catch a Predator video of the predator being drawn that takes all of 15 seconds?
Myself and all of the content creators struck by Hansen's meat scepter of reckoning had come to this community as fans of To Catch a Predator. We were behind this guy.
I hope by merely just showing Big Salmon's video in the background, you can fairly assume that this video is fair use.
Last year, Chris Hansen and his former associate Vincent Nicotra were involved in a false DMCA campaign against YouTubers critical of him. As a result, people were doxxed, channels were terminated. Eventually, Chris apologized for this instance by not really apologizing at all and shifting blame entirely onto Vincent Nicotra, who was already known as a complete scumbag. Where have we heard this before? Oh wait, remember he told the exact same story when he told the commentary community it was Vincent's fault that Chris sent him a laptop that never made it to the FBI, and people just took that answer and accepted it, like Chris didn't just hand a random civilian integral evidence to an investigation and not the fucking FBI agents he claims he knows. Remember when the community just believed that answer? Well, it's back again. Fast forward to January of this year, and a creator on the TCAP forums shows an alleged screenshot of Chris Hansen's channel being terminated for multiple third-party complaints of copyright infringement, which probably seems weird to a lot of you. It's important to note that the current Chris Hansen channel isn't Chris's original channel. If you check his old tweets, the channel link he used is broken now, and it matches up with the link from the TTAC screenshot. If you were to find a link to any old video from the original Hansen vs. Predator YouTube channel like I did, you'll find that sure enough, his channel was actually fucking terminated.
Because I think there is a responsibility there on the part of YouTube to monitor the kinds of things that people like Onision are doing.
Chris? I wonder why you haven't submitted for a nice checkmark on your 300k channel. Anything you want to tell the class? So to be clear, Chris Hansen is supporting the alleged victims potentially suing YouTube for not monitoring what people are doing on their site, while simultaneously, Chris has been ban-evading and breaking TOS through multiple false copyright strikes made to silence criticism of him, where he just shifted the blame to a third party, even though they were legal DMCAs sent in his name and on his account. That's quite the brick to throw from whatever glass house is starting to crack around you, Chris.
Vice President Joe Biden. Been going through some transcripts. And I guess the question is, did you really think it was okay to sniff the hair of that young girl?
Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm Alex should hit this guy up. He's literally pedo allegations for hire. And while Chris Hansen doesn't research the people and products he promotes, he also doesn't vet the people he chooses to associate with either. No, we're not talking about that piece of shit doxer, Vincent Nicotra. Today we're going to be talking about a Twitter user named Gene. Gene is a simple anti-O nutjob. He posts doxes of Onision and his family fairly regularly. And when he gets terminated for doing this, he creates a brand new account and starts again. You'll find this guy all over Onision related Twitter threads, spamming this shit in there, and it's nearly impossible to miss him. Aside from just being a psychopath in his spare time, Gene was actually working with Chris Hansen. Back when the video of Chris in front of Onision's house leaked on an account named Big Money Onision, it was accompanied by a screenshot showcasing Gene's Twitter profile image and a tab to one of Gene's suspended Twitter accounts, showcasing the fact that he himself was the leaker who was in direct contact with Chris Hansen. In DMs with Big Money Onision, which I've gotten confirmation that I am allowed to show you, he confirmed that Gene, the psycho doxer who runs around with an anonymous profile image, was the person who sent him the video that tons of drama channels reported on at the time. In case you're not understanding what I'm putting in front of you, Josh Pescator gave me a screenshot between himself and Chris Hansen where Chris confirmed he had worked with Gene, in case that wasn't crystal fucking clear already. And on top of that, there's the bullshit from my first video, including Chris's coronavirus killer, the confrontation with Onision that Chris Hansen ran from, the botched laptop incident, and the filler interviews he's used to draw out the investigation further with the woman who admitted she popped Xanax like they were fucking Tic Tacs before she went on and claimed that Onision killed people.
On the more severe side, I have literally had people starve themselves to death because of Onision and his rhetoric on YouTube.
Now, when you say starve yourself to death, people didn't actually die.
No, they died.
You have cases where somebody died in relation to starvation.
Yep. Chris Hansen has no integrity. This guy is a joke, and standing by while he tells sweet little lies to an entire new group of alleged victims in the Davi Vanity investigation is fucking crazy.
Once again, diving into the Davi Vanity investigation,
the leader of Blood on the Dance Floor, also known as Jesus Torres, accused and under investigation in the statutory rape of hundreds, if not thousands, of young women across the world, literally.
Please stop supporting this degenerate who surrounds himself on purpose with other degenerates. I don't care what pandering bullshit tweet Jay Aubrey sends out this week to siphon likes from the Anti-O drones. You're a YouTuber, bro. If Keem made so many mistakes in his Onision interview, make a fucking video and point them out, you crowd pleaser.
Phil, what am I to do with you? First of all, this very suspicious screen name, DSP.
No more!
Jay Aubrey is a sucker.
Your video about Shiloh recently, majorly insensitive and small-minded. For a graduate student, not much of a wide-scope thinker, are we? Maybe check your ego over the bigger issues at hand, which is a homophobic, sexists, racists, xenophobic bigot, onion, that should be deplatformed. Vids like yours just fuel people who don't get how awful a person he is or who want to victim blame. FYI, she might still be experiencing trauma, which makes her act irrationally. Poor taste and low quality, but then again, maybe that's your brand. Happy fucking birthday.
When the concept for this series was first brainstormed, I had initially planned to read more outrage posts from both Reddit and my comment section to showcase the derangement of the stereotypical anti-O cat ladies. The problem with this approach was that the longer I waited and the more I've openly spoken about the subject, well, it's become increasingly more likely that some trolls will fake comments and posts to get featured in my video. As a result, every comment you're seeing in this video was essentially a leftover, a piece cut out from the original Chris Hansen video on my channel, and this was done out of caution to avoid my following from poisoning the well here. So for a few weeks I was stuck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to cut this segment, but I also didn't want to post manipulated content. And then they released this.
There are at least 24 reports that were sent in via an email, a special tip line, if you will, set up by the Pierce County Sheriff's Department that have been deemed credible, that are being investigated further, including 2 reports referred to the Pierce County Sheriff's Department by other law enforcement agencies outside the state of Washington.
The Pierce County Sheriff Department dropped a tactical nuke on us and released 44 beautiful tips received from the Anti-O faithful, which are, by the way, timestamped between September 2019 and early February 2020, notably before I even got involved or invested in this drama at all. So comment section, we're back in business. He posted a video abusing his dog. RP states that AO farted in the dog's face and is doing such ridiculous things that he will end up hurting the dog. My initial thought was that since, you know, these were sent to a police department, they must be a bit more high IQ than something you'll find on Reddit, right? Oh my god, how wrong I was. I am writing you because I was instructed by Chris Hansen's tweet to do so, if I had any information on Onision to offer for the case against him. I cannot say I'm a witness or a victim of his, but I would like to offer you this video, of which is an expose on him, for your consideration, of which you could use for a better understanding of this sick individual's general history of mental instability and why he does not deserve to be absolved. This man is a sociopath who preys on innocent people, not only sexually, but mentally as well. I thank you for your time, and please respond after you've seen this evidence against him. And what was this evidence, you ask? What was the in-depth expose that the police officers in Pierce County are going to have to review in accordance with the investigation into Onision? Well, the answer may surprise you.
Leafy is here. Leafy is here. That Leafy is here. Leafy is here.
That have been deemed credible.
We have Leafy's.
Maybe Leafy?
Leafy is here. Is Leafy.
Guys, I think he might actually have a crush on me.
That have been deemed credible.
This dude is straight up in love. I mean, shit, looking at him right now, I would be very surprised if he wasn't down to smash. But regardless, today's not going to be about smashing, because today we're going to be talking about the legend himself, fucking Onision.
Also, in case the police officers didn't want to hear any of the mean swear words about someone who they are currently investigating for what we are led to believe is grooming and exploitation of a minor, the author of this fantastic email took it upon himself or herself to censor out and submit a re-upload with credit to Leafy, you know, without those pesky curse words. But come on, they all can't be this bad, right? I mean, surely they can't be submitting tips to the police in Washington, you know, all the way from Australia, requesting to write a witness testimony. No, that would be crazy. This email author, who goes by the screen name Luxie Moo, has submitted a tip because she believes she was nearly coerced into a sexual relationship with Onision and Kai at the age of 21, which is absolutely insane that I'm fucking reading this right now. This post right here reads like the Kiwi Farms equivalent of a Raid Shadow Legends ad read.
The website Kiwi Farms has an entire forum dedicated to following him, and has much of his past content archived or screenshotted in real time during those events. Their search feature is also one of the best you can find, and will allow you to search for specifics within this thread, not site-wide. And I suggest you use it as it's got thousands of posts from over the years. This could save you some time digging. If you sign up right now, you'll get access to up to 3 brand new champions.
I'm sorry, I added that last part to the script. There is something inherently funny to me about some cop having to spend their night shift reading through 1,000 pages of Kiwi Farms to follow up on this tip.
That have been deemed credible.
I'm starting to understand what the spokesman for the Pierce County Sheriff's Department meant when he said this.
Well, we're having a hard time finding people that are actual victims. A lot of the reports that we have come from third parties who maybe recognize their kids that are involved in some of this activity, or people that are just seeing it on his YouTube channel. So what we need to do is try and determine actual victims
that have been deemed credible.
I normally don't like to reach out to people unless something is very extreme. Though I have no physical evidence, I have nothing to do with my life, and I have sifted through lots of evidence in the Onision— oh, come on. I'm sorry. I have nothing to do with my life, and I have sifted through lots of evidence in the Onision case. Frankly, this man disgusts me, and you might as well charge him with pedophilia to get this dangerous man out of anyone's lives. You have to look no further than the countless cases of sexual misconduct and harassment that Onision produces. Onision has had intercourse while his children were in the same bed. Parentheses, no joke. Honestly, if these aren't crimes, the least you can do is take him off of YouTube. Wait. Did you just write a letter to the police department asking them to terminate his YouTube channel? Did you actually just do that? Like what the fuck? Are you kidding me? Notice this person was unable to spell sheriff correctly. I think that's a pretty good baseline to judge this quote-unquote tip off of. The last one I want to draw attention to would be the 3-page long fever dream by a man or woman who has already reported him, by the way, to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Look, this one's excruciatingly long and mostly lackluster, but I want to draw attention to page 3. There is a section following this fanfic that is labeled evidence. I myself was looking at this thinking, it appears we've got him. Finally, we're gonna get to read some of that evidence stuff that everyone tells me exists. Well, under that little funny word there, oh look, it's just some links to lolcow, a link to a Kiwi Farms thread, and a link to 5 girls' Twitter accounts. I just fucking can't. Well, if you want to see me read this behemoth of an email, and the other 43 of them with many of my raw reactions present, I invite you to check out my second channel, link in the description, where I uploaded a stream archive of me doing just that. Leafy is here and Grade A Under A stopped by in the YouTube chat, so I'd say it's worth checking out. But let's be serious here for a moment. This shit is not good optics by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it should come to anyone's surprise to see how big YouTubers are starting to speak out.
So I followed the Onision thing a little bit. Honestly, his critics are so cringe and so annoying that I'm actually starting to sympathize with Onision the last couple weeks. But I did, and that's not bullshit. That's not a joke, like literally.
Oh no, I get it. I don't sympathize with him, but it.
Well, I mean, he's more tolerable than them,
sure.
I guess.
Oh no, they
not
are
necessarily
worse.
sympathize.
Imagine how fucking bad you have to be worse than Onision.
I'm simulating fucking you in front of my house.
I know.
Yeah, you like that?
I mean,
you like that, you little bitch?
Did this chat like it?
No. Just chat like it. That's all he gives a shit about.
I wanted to make sure chat was enjoying themselves. That's all. I'm live. They live vicariously through my actions. Did chat like getting fucked by Onision? No, then neither did I.
Literally, you got sexually assaulted on air.
I mean, probably. That was the most
not even a joke.
This is the most evidence anybody can bring forth about Onision.
Right. You should have been interviewed by Chris Hansen.
Oh.
Okay, this is the part of the series where I remind the audience that you can be anti-Onision without filling the anti-O stereotype. There are tons of respected creators who are against Onision that wouldn't meet any of the qualifications that make up what I call Onision derangement syndrome. If you are, say, having nightmares about Onision confronting you, or you're creating a fan fiction about him going to prison, you're probably suffering from Onision derangement syndrome. If you criticized Onision for making adult content on a paywalled and age-gated OnlyFans account, and then you yourself have gone as far to insinuate he's done this as a ploy to send sexual content to children, while simultaneously you've leaked these pornographic images to all of your Twitter following, including, of course, whatever minors follow your account, in a spectacular showing of hypocrisy, you're probably suffering from Onision derangement syndrome. If you genuinely believe that the right opinion is actually Onision, who just so happens to be a skilled voiceover artist and has perfected the right opinion character for years to vindicate himself from these allegations, look, I'm sorry to break it to the truthers out there, but you might have some underlying health issue and you're clearly suffering from Onision derangement syndrome if you think that Tro is a deep cover Onision experiment. However,
gotta go to the bathroom! You shouldn't be concerned. I go to the bathroom through my mouth, so it's okay. No. How many cucumbers do I have to eat to prove to you that I don't need help? I'm taking bets on when that pile of bones you call a body is going to fall apart. I have $100 on you being dead within a week.
What Onision is like telling you guys to do, like, I know like maybe he thinks it's helpful. I get that, and that's nice if he does think it's helpful. So I'm not trying to hate on him or anything like that. But the thing that he's doing, he's like, I don't understand how it's not hateful to be going making an entire video about somebody, like telling them to just go unsubscribe to somebody. Like, how is that going to make me feel any better?
It's okay to dislike Onision and talk about the various genuine criticisms surrounding the 10+ years he's been active. It also doesn't have to consume your entire life. Hating Onision should not be your defining personality trait. Like it or not, all of these girls are public figures now, from Shiloh to Sarah, and they all individually have decently large social media presences with an army of legitimately crazy people who will interject into any conflict. The best way to address the toxic portion of the anti-Os is to simply address them. People like Shiloh have spoken for other accusers and have also coincidentally weaponized this toxic fan base in what I would call a power trip. A good piece of advice I can offer would be to disavow and speak against that kind of behavior. Many creators are watching Chris Hansen butcher important aspects of the Onision story, but they're now watching him get his grubby little paws on the Davi vanity investigation. Now would be the time to speak up and let alleged victims know what they are getting involved with, and trusting that man might not be the best path to get their justice. I don't know where or how this story will end, but I'll share with you what I personally believe about this investigation right now, whether it ages poorly or not. I think the odds of Onision seeing any jail time is slim to none, based on whatever evidence has been made public at the time of recording this. The most damning evidence in this investigation is against Kai, not even Onision, and it's literally just a screenshot with no timestamp, no scrolling proof, or any other context than just these images. Hey, comment section, don't give me that shit. It's a screenshot that anyone could recreate in 30 seconds with access to iOS 12 and what appears to be an iPhone 8 or 7. I have no idea if this is real or not, but if that's all you got, this is what people are going to say about it. From my limited legal knowledge, of which I don't have much, I think the consensus is that the accusers should focus their efforts on a civil case, which seems like a much more favorable option. This could obviously change. Onision's house could be raided tomorrow, and new evidence could certainly surface, but the amount of lies that we as a community have been told, and the amount of times that we have been strung on, has made me lose faith in those that are in charge of this trash fire. So what else? Well, this isn't going to damage his viewer count, which was already incredibly low, with most of his revenue coming off-site anyways. I hate to break it to you, but nobody's gonna step in and cancel Onision. We're talking about someone who is notoriously hated by most of the internet. I certainly don't think Blair White posting an image of her sexually assaulting Onision will help the case either. My prediction is that the small to mid-tier channels who only get views off spamming out indigestible Onision videos, and compilations of skits are going to wither away and starve as the story slowly dies, which probably is what's best for everyone. The unfortunate truth most anti-Os will never be able to swallow is the moral versus legal argument. Morally, one could find a lot of issues with Onision. You can dislike him, you can want him off the website, you could even hate him. Across the last 10 years or so, he's been involved in multiple YouTube controversies that could make Onision an incredibly unlikable guy. But unfortunately, being an asshole doesn't send you to jail. Being a bad boyfriend doesn't send you to jail. While there is piles and piles of evidence to back up a moral debate, there is a lack of information in the legal arena, and this is where conversations have gone recently. Let me be clear, when we say there isn't enough substantial evidence to prove that Onision has broken a law, we aren't talking about the fucking wetlands incident. All eyes are on the predatory allegations, the grooming allegations, and the ones involving sexual degeneracy. The things that make a good YouTube video good don't always make a good argument in a court of law, and people need to understand that the hundreds of people who post walls of text without any evidence to onisionhurtspeople.tumblr.com aren't ever going to become key witnesses in court. That's just not how the world works. Nobody can know for certain what will happen, but I know one thing. I'm done covering this for the time being. If you're looking for more Onision-related content, I've included a link to Cecil McFly's playlist of long-form Onision content, and the 3 videos created by The Right Opinion. Despite the criticisms I've made, the videos do a good job at telling the story. On the other hand, I've also included links to Onision's rebuttals and 3 stream VODs that total 10 hours of debates, which is unprecedented by the way, where Onision takes calls directly from detractors including myself, John Swan, and Willie Mac Show in regards to copyright abuse. Lastly, I've included various interviews, such as his appearance on The Kill Stream and Drama Alert. I'll also be including a link to Edwin Generation's interview with Onision that, thank fucking God, someone finally took. This is not a simple story, and many people have their opinions, but hopefully taking in every aspect of it without a biased lens will create a good picture. So yeah, thank you to all the guests that have joined me thus far. I wanted to end this off by reading one more exceptional comment, but I literally have no idea who to get for the voiceover. Oh wait, hold up. You know what? Hold on, wait a minute. I have an idea.
Why is this even doing?
Yo, Vega.
Yo, what's up? What's poppin',
You have to read this comment. You have got to read this comment.
What is it?
No. Come on. It's funny as fuck, dude. It's funny as fuck. Hey, come here. Here it is. Look and see.
Bitch, you got me fucked up. I am not reading that shit.
It's great.
Are you crazy?
It's amazing.
Look at the link to this shit.
You gotta read it, dude. Come on.
All right, fine. All right.
It's so good. So good.
Listen here, doughboy. I can already see.
I told you.
Here, watch this. Where
are we going? Do be the kind of guy to have this shit in your basement.
Listen here, doughboy.
That's more like it. That's what I'm talking about right there, baby. Let's get it. Come on, give it to me.
You started all this by, for lack of a better term, griefing one of Onision's victims
for
asking for financial aid to get a new laptop because she had to turn hers into the FBI. You literally, in every sense of the word, sent a mob after her because you quote-unquote expose her because she didn't want to ask for financial help originally, but got to dire straits and had to swallow her pride and ask for help. That is how this began. Just for argument's sake, let's just say you were her and she was you. Okay. And you have been through some serious mental and emotional abuse, and somebody sends an entire group to give you because you did something you didn't want to do. Let's not forget the fact that she apologized for offending people because she asked for help. Not only that, she offered refunds. You and Boblads both need your faces kicked in. IDGAF. If you call me White Knight or any of that low IQ shit, what comes around goes around. By the definition of predator, you lied in wait for her to make a tweet asking for financial help. You are a serial predator.
Wait, I'm a what?
I'm concerned. And I don't mean someone who weighs to sexually assaulting or physically assaulting someone. You like to mentally bruise people. The first goddamn chance you have, I'll pounce on that. You're a fucking snake. You lie in wait. How long did did you wait for her to make that tweet asking for help? Bro, you name the fucking time and place, and I'll do what your parents never did and kick the shit out of you, fat boy. A victim you are not. The fact that you two retards made a video over her calling you a predator, in parentheses, which you 100% are, is funny. Truth hurts, doesn't it? At least you weren't like your little buddy there who put 4 ads on his goddamn video. You picked this fight and now you're crying about slander? Would you like some French fries? I've never seen a grown man start shit with a victim of emotional and mental abuse and then cry about how he's a victim for being exposed, for being a predatorial piece of human crap. The sheer stupidity. Shiloh shouldn't have called for a mass report. That was idiotic. Just remember, dude, karma is a real thing. And I truly hope that with all my anger I have, that you get yours. You're fucking trash. Get over yourself, you overgrown man baby. If you're going to pick up the fight, you better goddamn finish it. Instead of bitching and crying to people about how you're a victim of slander after the crap you pulled. Nobody, especially victims of mental and physical and emotional abuse, should ever have to apologize for asking for help.
That's not
Nor should they ever have to apologize for supposedly offending people because some fat little retard and his dumb autistic friend decided that they were going to send a mob after her. And if you truly think you didn't send them all back to her, then there was never any reason for her to ever apologize for supposedly offending all you little man babies and been having to offer a refund. She got backed into a corner because of you.
Who have been affected and came across has a site called onisionhurtspeople.tumblr.com, and over the last couple of years has amassed a database virtually of people who've been impacted by Onision. And Holly Hayes joins us right now. Holly, thanks for being with us on Have a Seat tonight. How are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
You just can't make it up.
Have a seat over there. I wanna make money.